Hey, this is Pastor E here, and thanks so much for joining me again. I've been talking about relationships, and the last video I did was the 10 signs that your man, your boo, might actually not want to marry you. We're going to flip the tables around this time. I'm at a wedding that's just about to take place here, and I thought this is a perfect place to share with you the 10 things that may put a good man off from marrying you. And believe it or not, that a good man wants to marry you, and you know when you have a good man on your hands. You know when you have a good man on your hands. And sometimes you just need to know that there are some things that may put him off completely when you do them, and sometimes you don't know you're doing them. But I want to let you in on this. Like I say, it's giving you the lowdown so you can enjoy the high up. You ready? I mean, if you want to get to this moment right here, you might want to listen to what I have to say. So thing number one that may put a good man off from wanting to marry you is this. Number one, if you're always asking him, when will you marry me? I know it's a bit crazy, but look, you can't be asking him every week or every month. When are you going to marry me? So is this going to happen or not? As men, you know what? We actually look forward to the time that we ask you, will you marry me? But if you ask me all the time, it makes me look like I'm actually not planning on doing it at all. Now, I'm not saying don't ask or don't probe. I'm just saying don't be in my face about it all the time, because it's something that I want to do with all knowledge that I'm ready for it. And you know what? With guys, it's not that we don't want to ask you to marry us. It's just that it's something that we want to be absolutely ready for when we do it. So just chill out on asking all the time, when are you going to marry me? So is this thing going to happen? Because at that point, I might actually just walk away from me and say, you know what? You're putting me under too much pressure. So that's number one. Number two thing that's gonna probably put him off marrying you is if you are always boozing it up somewhere. Girlfriend, I don't know how else to say this to you, but tone it down on the booze. There is one thing that every guy wants to get as far away from as possible when it comes to marriage, and it is some chick who always has her knickers in her hand and waving them up, and she's drunk as I don't know. And guys are saying, I don't want to get involved with that. And here's the funny thing is, guys will party with you and you know, and so forth, but he's thinking, I don't want to marry that. And I know you're thinking, but that's kind of unfair. I'm just letting you in on what's in his mind. He's looking at it and he's thinking, I don't know if I want to take that home with me. I don't know if I want to put up with that when she becomes my wife. So all I'm saying to you is this: is tone it down on the booze. Number three, that thing that will put him off marrying you. If your girlfriends are always shouting at him about an issue that you actually never spoke to him about. You know, one of the things that guys talk to me about, or they say, you know, I don't understand how it is that her friends come to me and shout at me about how I did her wrong, and yet she never spoke to me about it. Makes me think that maybe I should be wanting to marry her friends and not her, because she's not telling me about it. And no guy wants his business out there with your girlfriend. Look, we know you're going to tell your friends, but do me a favor. Talk to me first before you talk to your girl. I don't want to hear something for the first time, something that's bugging you or something that you are upset about from one of your friends. Come and talk to me about it. You can tell them later, but let me be the first one. I don't want them to ambush me and come in my space and act as if they're going to start counseling me on my relationship with you. I don't want to marry someone like that. I'm just telling you. Number four. If you keep asking him to help your relatives with money, listen to me. You have got to understand something, that whilst he may be happy to extend a helping hand to you and your family in terms of financial needs, he doesn't want to become the go-to person for it before he becomes your husband. Because in his mind, he's thinking, if these people are treating me this way right now and coming and taking money from me before I become the husband, what about when I become a husband? They're going to take the shirt off my back. So you want to tone down on that, and just some of those things, keep them to yourself. You can discuss the problems at home, but can you just tone down the amount of times that you actually ask him to pay for things at your parents' place? Here we go. Number 5 that can actually put him off marrying you is if you cry every time you are upset with him. You know, for guys, that is absolutely annoying. And you know what? And guys, a guy understands that. Yes, fine. Maybe emotionally, that's how you express yourself. But for a guy, he says, I can't deal with you when you are crying all the time. When each time something happens, the first thing you do is cry. I feel like you're manipulating. I feel like you're forcing me into a position, and I don't know if I can deal with this if we get married. All right, here we go. Number 6 thing that can put him off marrying you. If you friend zone him every time that someone else comes around that you like, and then you unfriend zone him when the phase is over. He can only take so much of that. In fact, most guys can only take that one time. He's thinking to himself, you know what? It looks as if that each time some guy comes that you like, or your high school crush, or whatever it is, comes around, I get friend zoned. And then each time that guy blows you off, you want to come back and call me back into the game? Nuh-uh, I ain't having none of that. I'm not having none of that. Either you are dealing with me all the way, whether someone comes that you like or someone comes that you used to have or whatever it is. He says, I do not want to be put on the bench and then you pick me back again after that is done. I can't deal. Cannot deal with that. All right, here we go. Number 7 thing that will put him off marrying you is that if you keep telling him how much you desperately want a baby. Oh man. Ladies, I know you want a baby. I know your friend just had a baby. I know that you're feeling broody. But for a man, and it's not that we hate babies. No, we love babies. For a man, he's thinking, wait a second, do you really want me, or do you want me so that you can get a baby? And when baby comes along, I don't know that I will actually have a spot in this marriage at all. So look, as much as you want a baby, stop pushing for a baby all the time that you meet, and you're not even married yet, you're still in a relationship. And he's thinking, I don't know if I can actually deal with the way this woman wants to do this thing. I feel like this marriage is all about getting a baby. It's guy think, letting you in on the low down so you can have the high up. Here we go. Thing number 8 that will put him off marrying you is this. If you brag about how no man could ever be better than your daddy, I couldn't say that any louder. Your dad is a great guy. And your husband to be, this guy that you're dating right now, this good man that you have right now, one of the things that he's struggling with is, number 1, he has to respect your dad. He has to deal with the fact that he is a man that he has to respect. Now, if you're in his face about how my daddy was this and my daddy was that, my daddy did it better, my daddy would have done this, I'm going to talk to my daddy about it. He's thinking in his mind, look, I'm not trying to be your dad. I'm trying to be your man. I'm trying to be your husband. And if you keep putting your dad up in my face, maybe you should marry your dad. Because I'm not about to be compared all my life with some man somewhere who bought you pizza when you wanted to, some man somewhere who did everything for you. And I'm not saying I'm not gonna do stuff for you. I will. I'm just saying don't compare me to your dad, because I can't be like him. Number 9 thing that will put him off marrying you. Number 9 is this. If you constantly ask him to take care of all your cosmetically related bills. Oh man, you know the thing with guys is this, and let me let you into a little secret. Every guy who dates a woman who puts on makeup longs for a day, at least one day, that she will go out with him or spend the day with him without any makeup on. Because he loves the way you look naturally. I'm not saying don't put on makeup at all. No, go ahead and do it. But when you start making him pay for all your hairdos, for all your makeup, for all your massages he wants to be able to do it. He doesn't want to be forced to do it. Now, I know everyone else tells you that, well, my boyfriend paid for this, my boyfriend paid for that. That's them. He said, this is me, baby. This is me. Some things I can afford and some things I can't. And some things I want to do for you. But some things I don't want to have to do them because I'm trying to live up to some image of what a guy is supposed to do. And finally, number 10 thing that will possibly put him off from wanting to marry you, even though he is a good man, is always asking him, where are you right now? You're always calling the phone. Where are you right now? Where are you right now? Who are you with right now? And I get where you're coming from. But trust the guy. He's a good man. Remember, this is the good man we're talking about. Trust the guy. Show him that I trust you, baby. And he will want to marry you. But if you keep asking him, where are you, who you're with, how come you said you were at this place, but instead you were at that place? That is gonna start giving him cold feet, because he's thinking, man, I don't know how this is gonna work with this lady. Hey, listen, I'm trying to help you here. giving you the lowdown so you can have the high up. If you have a good man on your hands, I'm going to encourage you to handle him well. Not so much so that just because he can marry you, but because he deserves to be treated like a good man. God bless you. Thanks for listening in. We'll talk to you again soon. Pastor E here. Bye-bye. Wedding is starting.